right? Anyway, none of that was in my notes. Okay, so where am I at? I can't do this. I'm already sweating. It's 7:45. I'm just messing with you guys. Okay, so yeah, he's the God of Abraham. So we get to verse 5. No man should be able to stand before you all the days of your life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will not leave you nor forsake you. God is like, Joshua, I didn't call you to go anywhere I wasn't going with you. He's like, I'm with you. You don't have to do it alone. Actually, you can't do it alone. It's not even like you don't have to go alone. Try it. Try to go without me. See how that works. You can't do it alone. Everything I've told you up until this point, let's be clear. Not only have I already gone before you and actually stamped it done, now I'm actually going to take the journey with you. I'm going to empower you. I'm going to strengthen you. I'm going to be your grace. I'm going to be your sufficiency. I'm going to be everything that you need to get to the thing I've already set up for you. Like, my mind can't even fathom how that works. I'm just glad that it does, right? Like, that's kind of how I've concluded a lot of the things of God, because I'm the type of person that, like, things have to make sense to me, right? So I've concluded that it makes sense that it doesn't make sense. Like, that's kind of just where I have to land. God has already set up the blessing for you. Right. Whatever the thing is that God is offering, it's already done. But you also have to take a journey to get there, right? And and I love about God, he doesn't say it's theirs to go get it. He's like, it's there and I'm going to take you. I'm going to go with you. I'm going to ensure that you get there. I'm your presence. I'm your power on the journey. He said, you can do this. Why can you do this? Because I'm never going to leave you nor forsake you. Let's be clear. The reason you are able to do it is because of me. I will empower you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. I don't care how it feels. I highly value human emotions, but they often fail us, right? So, like, I think there's a proper place for emotions. Do not deny your emotions. Experience your emotions. Your emotions are God-given, right? But sometimes our feelings don't line up with the truth. And when our feelings do not line up with the truth, you always are to lean on the side of truth, right? So when it feels impossible and God says you can do it, you don't go, well, this feels impossible, so I'm just going to abandon the idea that I can do it, because God had already said it so. And because he's so confident in who he is, he's like, I got you, because I'm the best there is. I'm pretty powerful. So if I can empower you to do this, you can do this. I don't know what your this is tonight. You can fill in the blank, the dot. You know what your this is that you came in here with tonight. I don't know. But everybody at some point in the journey has a this that they need to remember, hearing the voice of God saying to Joshua as he says to you, I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. So then we get to verse 6. But before we get to verse 6, you would think that everything God said before that was enough, right? Like, I promised it to Abraham. I promised it to Moses. It's done. I've already set it up for you. I'm with you. You would think that it was enough for Joshua to be like, cool, I'm going for it in full confidence with God. But I love God because he knows our human weaknesses. He knows our frailties. He knows that we're human, right? And so even though it makes sense that Joshua should take everything that was said in verse 1 through 5 and move forward in full confidence, God is so amazing that he knows us. So he comes in verse 1 through 5, and he comes in verse 6, and God commands Joshua, be strong and of good courage. Why does God have to tell Joshua to have courage? Verses 1 through 5 already happened. He was like, I'm God. I'm with you. I've already, said that it's done. I've already prepared the blessing for you. Look how far I brought your people. I'm the God of Moses. I'm the God of Abraham. I birthed the entire people out of a barren woman, like at 100 and something years, or whatever. She was 99, whatever. She was up there, right? So you would think that Joshua was like, yeah, I got this. But no, and you think that God was, like, it would stop at verse 5, like, and then they walked into the land. No. God comes in verse 6, and he says to Joshua, as he says to you and me, after we already know all these amazing things about God, right? After we already know who he is, after we already know the testimony he's brought us, how far, and what he's done in the lives of people around us, and we've seen his glory and his amazingness and the works and the powers of his hand, and he's still comes in today, in this moment, on Wednesday, December the 10th at 7:57, and says, be strong and of courage. Because he's so aware of our human condition that he doesn't even have time to waste time on telling us why not to be afraid. He's just going to step in and say, be courageous, because I know you. Be strong, be of good courage. And then what does he say in verse 7? Be strong and very courageous. He's like, if you didn't hear me the first time, it's all right. I'm going to reaffirm it. Be strong, be courageous. I know what you have before you to face, and I know that you'll get scared. Right. Because I know you. Like, that's what I love about God. Like, he doesn't beat up on me like people do. You know, or like I do to myself. Let's be clear. I ain't beat up on myself more than anyone else does. Like, I'll shut people down and get out of my life. But me, like, I'll beat up on myself. I'm really, really hard on myself. Like, how did you do that, Liana? Like, I'm the type of person where I blank out in the middle of sermons. No, I'm the type of person where usually in life it's like, once I get a concept, then I'm like, I apply it, right? Like, once it makes sense, then goes the stage of application. But sometimes I get really mad at myself because it's like, Liana, it makes sense to trust God, and I'm still over here not applying it. Like, why? Like, there's a gap. There's some gap, some miscommunication. While I'm beating up on myself, God's like, be courageous. Trust me. I got you. I'm with you. While I'm over here finding a million reasons why to go off on myself for not trusting God, God's like, just trust me. Right. You know, like, be courageous, be strong. And then we get to verse 8. This book of the law should not depart from you, from your mouth, but you shall meditate in it day and night, that you may observe to do according to all that is written in it. For then you will make your way prosperous, and then you will have good success. Basically, God says to Joshua, remember me. All that, remember me. I said this before, that the human memory is a very, very powerful weapon on this journey. He says, meditate on my laws. Don't focus on where you have to go. Don't focus on what you have to do. Don't focus on that circumstance that seems overwhelming that I'm telling you to go for, to prosper in, to conquer it. Remember me. Right. Because when you remember me, that becomes small. Right. Because I am huge. And a lot of times we're focused on, you want me to do that? And God's like, remember me, Joshua, do you know who I am? Meditate on my word. Meditate on me day and night. Fuel yourself with the truths of who I am. I am powerful. I am strong. I am the creator of heaven and earth. Death and life are in my hand. I am the God who can part the sea. I am the God that rose Jesus from the dead. I am the God I am God. Are you tripping off of making it through a couple of armies? I created them and I can take them out like that. Remember me. Meditate on me. We get scared because we shift our focus off of God and we put it on the circumstance that's right in front of me. God said, Joshua, you know how you're going to be successful? Let me make it clear. It's not your strategy on how to conquer the people. We can sit down and make to-do lists and strategize and figure out how we're going to conquer. And honestly, after I'm doing my to-do list, I am now in a state of anxiety. Okay? Like, when I'm looking at what it takes to conquer that bad boy, I go back to sleep. Like, unless I am able to shift my focus off of the thing before me and remember God, I'm overwhelmed at the thought of what I think it takes to get there. Like, I'm telling you guys, like, experience after experience. The one thing I talk about all the time, but it's my story, so I don't care, is I almost weighed 400 pounds. And I had no one in my life that I had ever seen conquer obesity before. Seen a lot of obese people. A lot of people struggle. No one who conquered. And the one person I knew who did had gotten surgery. So I'm thinking to myself, like, Jesus, I got to get up out of here. But I don't have a path. I don't have a blueprint. I don't know how to do this. I don't know if I can do this. That's right. But he said, but he did it through me. He said, but who the Son sets free is free indeed. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. I've come to set the captives free. I was bound. I had to do something with that truth. Right? It had to inform my life. It couldn't just be a gospel I spoke. It couldn't just be something I read. I had to remember him. Who is this God that is telling me that I can leave this place? like, yes, Jesus, you can help me lose 200 pounds, and then tomorrow I've lost it. No, it doesn't work like that. And the only thing that gave me the confidence to even take a step was I had to shift my focus off of being obese and shift my focus on the guy who said he sets the captives free. Because as long as I focused on what I had to overcome, the thought of it paralyzed me in my mind. The thought of it scared me. Give me a bag of Cheetos. Like, I can't do this. Like, I can't fuck. Like, it's scary. Sometimes God calls us to do something and we want it, but it scares the mess out of us. Some of us don't have blueprints. Some of us have never seen things done before. Some of us, God has challenged us to do things that are completely out of our comfort zone, but we want it. But we get scared. And now my issue is not even fear. It's that when fear paralyzes us from moving, right?